We have a brand new game.
I was trying to contain myself. Oh my.
Go option one, not safe. These are insane.
And Brandon keep killing it.
Yo, what's good, creative fam? Brandon Washington here. I know it looks different today. Look, I can't tell y'all how excited I am about this show because of how different this setup is. I told y'all last week, if y'all were watching, that we were going to have a slightly different show set up for you. And that is because this weekend, tomorrow, in fact, we are hosting our first in-person event in years, which is the World of Red Cinema Workshop. We've got people coming in from Red headquarters coming in to train. We've got amazing guests that are going to be here. Like, we have my good friend Justin Porter, who's going to be coming in. He's going to be talking to us. Also, we have other lead trainers. We got people who flew in from Toronto, but I'll talk to them about that in just a second. But we have such an amazing event coming up. But today, the show is different because of that event, and you're going to quickly be able to tell because for the first time, all of my guests are actually in person. And I said all because we have quite a few guests on today's show, and you're going to see that the set is a little bit different. So we started here to ease you in, but once we actually get into it, you're going to see the set is massively different. Starting off with our friend from Toronto, my good buddy, Mr. Kofi. What it do, bro?
What's going on? I've been up since 3 a.m. because that's when I got to the airport, and I flew in the airport, came directly here. Can't miss the show, and I got here with 10 minutes to spare. So
hey, I appreciate it.
No worries, yo.
You have no idea how much I appreciate it. Homie literally got off the plane, came straight here, and yeah, I met you at your Uber.
Yeah, literally, I took the Uber from I guess George W. Bush is the airport.
Yeah,
literally couldn't find how to get an Uber. Got in one. I gave him the address. Kind of drove around. Couldn't really find it. We saw a bright orange toque, and yeah, we're here. I still haven't slept yet.
Hey, that's all right. You'll get plenty of sleep.
I'll sleep later. Yep.
Yeah, you can sleep later.
Yeah, it's fine.
Also, you can see joining him on the couch is my good friend Justin Bowers. He's actually one of the owners here of Captive Creative and Captive Studios. That's his LED wall, y'all. Oh, Kofi's.
We also got a puppy, Beppo, over here.
Yeah, Kofi is under the impression that the puppy is going to get all the super chats today. So we shall see.
That sounds like facts.
And of course, we have our familiar face, good friend, guy I just love doing life with, talking about family, kids, and of course his documentary journey, Mr. Marcus Robinson.
What it do? What's going on, fam?
Hey, look, everybody in the chat, super excited to have you guys here today. The question of the day, though, and this has to do with this crazy week, because honestly, like, we've been talking about Red cameras and like all the Sony cameras, but it seems like Fuji came out of nowhere, dropped this new camera on our lap, and it quickly became the #1 most like fast-selling camera on the market in a time where I personally thought that camera sales were done. Like, I thought people's hype around cameras were pretty much done. And so the question for you guys in the chat right now is the hype around cameras like back? Is it dead? Is camera hype over? I really want to know what you guys think in the chat. Guys, I know you guys shoot on tons of different cameras, and we got Mr. Fuji Fanboy sitting right here straight across from me.
Harsh.
It's only harsh if it's not true, and I feel like it's pretty true.
Borderline, but not fanboy.
Okay, he just don't want to accept it yet.
Borderline.
He don't want to accept it yet. But let me know, like, Kofi, what do you think about camera hype right now, especially with this Fuji camera? Because I mean, I think it helps that it's only what, $1,500 or something like that. But like,
I think specifically for like the X100X, I always get that thing wrong. But anyways, I think the thing with that one is that it's one of the few cameras that garnered a broad audience outside of professionals. So so many people are like, oh, this camera that appeals to me, I don't need to be a professional photographer per se, because it got hype off of like a TikTok or something, which I don't know if that person is a professional photographer. But when you have something that has so much of a broad audience, we're seeing that now in camera sales, right? And with that, you're also going to get a little bit of pushback from people that are buying it, because if you have a video that gets 1 million views, you're going to get a bunch of praise, but you're going to get those weird comments that come out of there because there's so many people.
Right.
But yeah, I think the Fuji X100VI is a camera where you don't have to want to be a professional photographer, but you could still have fun with it. And I think that's why there's so many people getting it. And I think that's where I don't think the hype is dead. I think there's just certain cameras that might appeal to certain audiences that catch on with, right? A cinema camera, very niched. So if the upgrade per se isn't crazy, we kind of don't care. We're not buying cinema cameras left and right.
Well, and speaking of cinema cameras, I know, Justin, you guys use a lot of cinema cameras
Yep.
here. You guys run this big production company, obviously LED wall, you have the Bolt. But like when you see a camera that's like $1,500 taking over the industry, like as a professional, do you care?
I personally makes me excited to watch other creatives learn and have new tools to create stunning work. That makes me excited. For me, I'm always looking for the next best high dynamic range, global shutter, high speed, and that costs money. So for those that are just wanting to get their get their hands dirty and get some really stunning stuff, it excites me.
Yeah, and I mean, now I know you don't want us to call you a Fuji fanboy, but like what's your main camera?
Anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anything.
I don't have a main.
Anything.
But I for the last 9 months, I've been shooting primarily on the Fuji
So
H2S.
does this camera mean anything to you? Because I mean, and obviously you're using more of their interchangeable lenses. I feel like Fuji's one of those weird brands where like they have everything from like high-end professional cameras all the way down to literally Insta-stack, take a picture, Polaroid style cameras that pop out. When you see a camera like this, does it make you feel like the brand is stronger, or is it like just all hype?
I don't know if it's well. First of all, let's not just skip past the fact that Fuji has a stellar, superior image. Like it's the image. It's not just this is the camera, because plenty of cameras just came out. Plenty of cameras came out, maybe even in that affordable price range. But Fuji creates an image that people are just excited about, and you have all these film simulations within the camera that help you get a look that you don't need to be an editor. Because that was the big thing that people say about Fuji films. Like you can just post the JPEGs. You don't need RAW. You can just post Fuji JPEGs and be able to get a look right out of the camera that it just looks different than most people's, like Canon or Sony. It does look different. And to be able to get that look from a JPEG and then post right to your social media, it means something to people.
I think I agree with that. I think for me, when I look at this camera in particular, I look at it as like for a long time, the camera that I've always wanted, and I still want it, is the Leica Q. And it's because it's a simple camera. I can take photos with it, JPEGs even. It's got a fixed lens on it. It just simplifies like all the stuff that comes with creating. Like whenever you use like a traditional camera or a professional camera, big quotes, like you got to think about like ISO, and you're going to shoot in RAW, and then you got to bring it in Lightroom, and you're going to do all these different things. And Fuji, very much like Leica to me, they both seem like brands that like they do a good job at just getting you a good image just straight out of camera, which I think to Kofi's point is like why we see like such a mass adoption of a camera like this, because professionals like how it simplifies their process, but then people who are beginners like that they don't have to like go to school basically to learn how to utilize this camera. They can take it out of the box, throw a battery and a memory card in it, throw it in auto, snap some photos, and then the colors just come out great on it.
Yeah.
And not just snap photos. They can get, I believe this camera has like 6K sensor in it.
Yeah. So I think that's a big point with like in the world that we're moving into, obviously with social media and stuff like that, like a camera of this caliber packing some pretty big video features. I think that even goes further into talking about like sort of like the station of like where these type of cameras are going. Like you got a $1,500 camera that can shoot 6K, but it's also still this camera that anyone and everyone is going to pick up. Like, what do you think that world as far as like social media, professionalism and all that?
I think what's happening is a gap between, like, I think there's an acceptance now, I guess, from the camera companies too, because you can see that when they're coming out with their bodies that if you get on social media, the amount of money that you're making can be a professional gig, and the tools that you can use for it might not be something that someone in professional video production might make. And I think like Fuji's understanding that when Sony came up with like the A7C line, they're starting to understand, hey, some of these guys are making money on YouTube and TikTok. Why don't we make tools that suits that workflow? Right. And I think like what ends up happening from the professional side of things, we only see professional video or video that's paid a lot of money through one lens, and it's what our workflow is.
Right.
But like there's some TikTokers making crazy money, right? That might not pick up a red Komodo, right? But they might get that Fuji camera that, hey, maybe I get a decent audio jack I can put in there, get a little DJI mic, shoots in 6K, it looks great. I could take great photos on it. use all the film emulations and stuff, and that's more than enough for me.
Mhm.
And I don't have to spend $10,000, right? I think camera companies are understanding that. I think it's us having to accept that there's a new kid sitting at our table a little bit, and then once that happens, like, yeah, I think that's where you kind of see that going. I don't think it's a replacement. I think there's just a new person that's there and a new branch of video production, and we just have to kind of move around that because camera companies are figuring it out.
Well, Justin, I'd love to ask you with that in mind, like, you're right, Kofi, that there is this sort of like change that's happening where like the work of a videographer always was very clear. Like you had people who shot things like weddings or commercial, and then you had like filmmakers that were working on like narrative or documentary films, right? But now there's like this new carved path of people who kind of create for themselves, a content creator. But as someone, Justin, who shoots a lot of commercial work, how do you see this like leaning into even some of the productions and some of the clients that you guys are working with? Like, do you find clients are asking some of these questions about content and like where it's going to be posted? Like, do your clients want to be on TikTok or something?
Yeah, so I like the diversity of cameras that are coming out, because there are some projects where we need to do something in super slow motion, and there's other times where I need to go to a live event and capture something where I can't even bring a DSLR in. So there's an iPhone 15 Pro, and we're filming the whole event on those cameras. So the diversity and the simplicity of some of these cameras helps me as a creator help even like some of my clients' budgets. Like, hey, I can't use the red on this project. We have a fast turnaround. Let's go ahead and use XYZ to expedite the process and get these things out quicker. But then there's those projects where they're like, this is the highest end we want to possibly be, and we don't care about time. Let's execute the highest we can and pull out the best color we can, and do the shots like 12 or 15 or 100 times.
Those are bolt shots.
Yeah.
No, I think that's really good. You touched on a point that I actually really love, and that's, I feel like now we have way more options, which almost can be a little polarizing sometimes. Like
It can
be. It's like you get to a point where you're like, okay, there's like 100 cameras that could do the job. Which one is the right one? And I know me and Marcus, we were playing on Instagram Live the other day. We were on ChatGPT. We were asking ChatGPT, what's the best camera to buy in 2024? And like, it couldn't really give us a good answer.
Yeah.
Not only because it's AI and it's just really not that good.
Yeah.
But like the truth really that I started thinking about was that there's so many options.
So many options.
Yeah.
But they're all good, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, I know, Marcus, you're someone who has had the opportunity to, I know your documentary that was on the list for an Oscar, that was shot on Blackmagic. You shot a lot of stuff on the C70. You recently just shot some stuff even on Sony. One of your main cameras right now is Fuji. So like, as someone who is jumping from system to system, but based off of the job flow, with so many options, how are you figuring out what is the best tool for the job? Like, what are the things that you look at and say, okay, because of this reason, I'm going with this camera? Or is it kind of like, whatever the heck I feel like shooting with that day?
A mixture. It's definitely a mixture of that. And it comes down to the job, of course. And I don't like to fumble around with gear. So if I got to Franken's rig up something, it becomes a nuisance to me. So I just pick the camera that will give me the easiest workflow. But they're all those cameras you just named, the images look great. So image quality is like not at the top of my list anymore.
Yeah.
It's functionality. And like, do I got the ports that I need for the mics? Does it do time code, and I need time code? Is it easy to take into a place and not be like noticed like a big rig camera? So I take all that into consideration. But now that's on my list, especially if it's a personal project, is will I have fun shooting on it?
Yes.
And Fuji, for me, the F stands for fun. And I think that's one of the main reasons a lot of people are buying this camera, because it is a fun camera to shoot on.
Did you just like do
That's a
a
bar.
did you just do a plug?
That's a bar. Can I drop up?
I was about to say, did you just do a little Fuji plug on the stream?
I mean, if
The
they're
F stands
watching,
for fun.
I like that. I like that. That's
New
a hot
marketing
bar.
campaign.
Yeah. F stands for fun.
it's a fun camera.
Yeah.
And every time someone asks me, like, why Fuji? The same thing, I'll be like, well, if I had a Sony, would you say why Sony?
Yeah.
And when I had the C70, did you say, why'd you pick the C70? But I have a Fuji, and it's like, well, why Fuji? And I'm like, why not? There's nothing you can ask me about this camera that I can't answer. It shoots 4K, it shoots 6K, it's open gate. Is your camera open gate?
I don't want to answer it.
You know, it's a Sony
I mean,
open
like-
gate. You know, so like, so I answer all these questions, and I'm like, and none of that really means anything to me. It's the camera's fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now there was a question because you just mentioned C70, and there was a question in the chat from ZT Links, and he says, "I'm saving up for a C70. Is that still a good camera in 2024?" I'll let you answer that question because I know you got a lot of experience with the C70, but we put it in the chat already. This camera right here that's currently about to go live is the C70. We still use that camera to this day, and we use it for a lot of our projects.
Mhm.
So I will quickly say, like, just to show instead of just telling, we are actually using this camera right now, and we absolutely love it for a lot of good reasons. But Marcus, you got a chance to shoot with the C70 for quite a while.
Yeah.
What was your experience like with that camera?
Yeah, we just shot an entire feature with the C70.
Wow.
Documentary on autism, and it's a workhorse. I can bring up a couple of things about it that I didn't like, but will I recommend it to someone that's actually looking for it? Absolutely. There's nothing more. That camera's probably for the next 2 or 3 more years. It'll probably still be a go-to camera.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think that's too. And I think what you mentioned about that camera being a workhorse is one of those things that's like, you know, an absolute must, like finding that camera that does the job for you. So I know that's different for everybody, right? Like what makes a camera a workhorse for them, like is going to be different. But I think people can really benefit from different perspectives. So I love to go around the table just for a second and just be like, what is like maybe 1 or 2 like most important things for you that a camera has to have that will make it that camera, like it makes it that camera. You know what I mean? So like Kofi, for you, like what are like 1 or 2 features that when you're picking up a camera, you're like, okay, yes, it's that camera. Or maybe it's something that the camera can't have, like it's a problem. But what is that for you?
I think 2 things. It's one is the ability to rig it up into different configurations because like my freelance life bounces all over the place. And I like the idea of like just having a camera body where I'm like everything that I have is inside of it and I could mix and match to the other parts around it in camera prep and make it work instead of having to think of another option. The other thing is audio. And I don't know if a lot of people talk about like audio imports and stuff like that. I don't like having to get another cable to plug in an audio cable. So if I have to go like mini XLR to XLR or like Limo to another module to go to something else, because that's one more thing that can go wrong. Where if it does go wrong and you're not prepared for it, like you could have, I have 5 XLR cables. I might not have 5 Limo cables. I might not have 5 mini XLR to full size XLRs, right? And if those go down and your audio's gone, well, then you just have pretty images with no sound, right? And I think those are the 2 ones. Is like, A, can I rig it up in a variety of different ways? And B, does the audio workflow make sense to there's less things that could screw up because if it can happen, it will happen at some point.
Gotcha. What about you, Justin?
I've got 2. One of them is a sync port because I do a lot of high speed and we want to have the shortest clip possible. And then also being able to do multi passes, just triggering that camera on and off with our robots and some other options.
So for anyone who doesn't know what he's talking about, so a sync port on his camera is just a way for him to trigger the camera's recording remotely. So he doesn't want to have to like press the record button and start and stop it every single time, because when they're doing stuff on the robot, those shots, especially if they're in super slow motion, they can get really long. You got a lot of dead space. So that's what that sync port is talking about.
Exactly. And then the other functionality that I really like to have is the Wi-Fi feature to be able to control the camera within my tablet or iPad. Because most of the time my camera is completely surrounded by lights and C-stands or product. It could be have a probe lens on the end of it. You know, it depends. Like it's kind of hard to get to the camera sometimes. So, you know, changing something on the camera can be really difficult. So having that functionality is great.
Yeah, that's really good. What about you, Marcus?
I have 2. I have more, but my top 2 are customizable buttons. I want to be able to like change things on the fly, and shooting a lot of run and gun doc. I want to be able to go from like, you know, 24 to, you know, slow motion with just like that. I don't want to have to go into the menu and select things because now I'm missing something in the scene. And what was the other thing I just had in my head? It was customizable buttons and Jesus, I just had it.
I think for me, I like the customizable button option, but like, because I find that like a lot of cameras, like you get into a problem where
Oh,
like you want to
I'm back.
make that change. You got it?
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, I think like, but I think when it comes to like customizable buttons, a lot of cameras will let you like they have buttons, but I want to be able to reprogram almost any of the buttons because sometimes some of the buttons they put in places, I'm like, yeah, that's really cool, but I don't really want it there. I really
Yeah.
would like it
Yep.
here. So I would say taking it one step even further, don't just give me customizable buttons. Let me reprogram your existing buttons on
All
there.
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was
for
your second
sure.
one?
That's what I love about the C70. Because they give you like 13 different freaking options. Autofocus. A camera has to be able to do both for me.
Yeah.
I love manual lenses. For
Jarrell
sure.
is cheering in the background.
I
Y'all
love
can't see
cinema
him.
lenses. I just did a whole YouTube video on cinema lenses. If you're watching this, go to my channel and like, comment, subscribe. But
Boy, got all the plugs today.
Get your bag, King. Get your bag.
but autofocus. I'm a doc shooter. Like every now and
Yeah.
then, especially like a one-man band sometimes, and I want the ability to chase my subject and keep them in focus and not be so cinematic all the time. So yeah, the camera should be able to do both for me.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I think I would say that my two probably are like not necessarily what the camera can do for me, but like these are problems that if the camera has, I immediately have to write it off.
Mm.
And like the first one for me is overheating.
Oh.
Because if a camera overheats, like you're done. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like it's like the one thing, like to your point, like yeah, I rig out my cameras a lot in a lot of weird ways, but like when the camera decides it's not gonna work anymore because it's overheated and like I can't stick a fan in there. I can't swap a battery.
Gotta
Like
wait.
there's not all you can do is sit and wait. To me, that's an instant.
Yeah.
This camera is not going to work for my
Yeah.
workflow. And then I think the second one kind of goes hand in hand, but it is battery, and it's a camera that has a really rough battery workflow. I'm fine rigging up a V mount battery and stuff, but like if you give me a small camera, like for example, I hate to bash on them, but I did it in like 15 videos, so I don't care anymore. The Blackmagic pocket cameras, because it's like, hey, our battery solution for you is this one. Stick it in your camera and use it, but it lasts 15 20 minutes. I'm like, that's not a solution. So you're forcing me to go find an external solution.
Yep.
Or even the Canon R5C is another example. That was a camera that I was really excited about. I loved it, but the battery solution was so bad from what they initially planned. Now, that said, I know some people are going to be like, well, when you buy Red, you don't even get batteries. But for me, the solution is built into the camera, which is the V mount batteries.
Mhm.
And for me, it's like, okay, cool. I know what I'm getting into when I buy this system.
Yep.
But for me, it's just those two things. Like if your camera's overheating or if the internal or the designed battery solution doesn't work, that's really, really rough because I need to be able to rig this camera down as small as I possibly can. Because yes, I understand you can always build it up. You can
Yeah.
always take an R5C or a Blackmagic and throw V mounts and all that stuff on it. But it's a small camera for a reason.
Yeah.
I need the battery life to work when it's at its smallest point.
Yeah.
So for me, those are my two. But what I do think is interesting here is that we all gave our points, but nobody's point actually had to do with image quality. Nobody said
what I
resolution.
said.
I think the reason why is because image quality is so good now that it's not the first thing on the list. And it like to the Blackmagic point, I was like I'm doing this kind of challenge for myself where I'm like, I'm gonna try to make the next 3 docs that I'm currently shooting work with the Blackmagic, regardless. Like it's gonna be inconvenient. I'm just gonna have to roll the punches and find solutions for it.
Mhm.
But one of those solutions was the battery life, right? But that would be something that would matter more to me about like the battery life. The image is great.
Yeah.
Right. But some of those workflow things in terms of like rigging it out and being able to be a little bit more malleable, you get a little bit frustrated sometimes, right? Like
Right.
rolling shutter, I don't even care. Like when I see it, I'm like, oh, it's there. But what drives me nuts is when I got to put the V-mount battery in front and I'm like, the screen is so nice and high quality, but I'm just mucking it up because I'm putting this V-mount battery in front of it. And I'm like, well, now the whole thing is kind of like, it kind of feels a little bit denatured now. You put this big, nice screen and now I have to put this
Can't even use it.
thing at the front. And then I don't have like to get a monitor of that quality. I'm looking at a small HD that's going to cost me $1,500.
But almost about half as much as your camera at that point.
It literally, right? And that's where going through that sort of challenge, you start to realize the image quality is like imaging cameras, great. They're all really good, downsampled, 6K, open gate, all the other stuff. It's really nice. But it comes down to what is my use case? And if my camera doesn't fit it, that's going to impact me way more than this camera shoots 12K. that doesn't matter anymore. And I don't think for a lot of, and I think people try to justify the price of cameras by image quality, and I don't necessarily think it's the right thing anymore.
Yeah, I think I agree
Yeah.
with that. I think I mean my personal take as far as like cameras moving forward, and this is why I think it's so hard when we get the question of like, what's the best camera to buy? Is like image is kind of like a level playing field. It's like almost like what's the best house to purchase? Like, well, they all have roofs, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
image quality is like, yeah, the image quality is there, but you got to ask yourself,
How are you going to use it?
exactly. And that becomes what you're willing to pay for or not pay for. And if something is worth it.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing I've been struggling with. Like obviously I make camera reviews and stuff, but like it's really hard to say like, is this camera worth the price or is this camera good or bad based off of the price?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the functionality that camera manufacturers are putting into their cameras now are very specific to the user.
Yeah.
And I might not need that thing. Like,
Yep.
like for example, Kofi, you say like you don't really care about rolling shutter, right? Since shooting on the Komodo X, it's very hard for me to shoot video on something that doesn't have a global shutter now because my eye has gotten so trained to the look of global shutter that now I'm just like, I want everybody to put global shutter in all their cameras and we'll figure it out as we go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that said, what is something that you guys are currently seeing, like as far as like a functionality thing that people are putting into their cameras now that have you the most excited? Like I know for Marcus, it may be some of the Sony AI autofocus stuff that's going on or whatever that might be. But what are some of the features that are maybe making their way into cameras that are going to help with functionality? Or what are some of the features you'd like to see camera manufacturers start adding in that'll help?
I've got one. I know that a lot of these cameras are getting a lot more higher dynamic range. Sometimes they're like, oh, I'm 4K, in your drone, you point up the sky, it's completely blown out. You can't see anything. But now some of these cameras, the dynamic range, and I think that's what's helping push these images quality out better, right? To be able to walk into a room and it's capturing the darks and it's capturing the lights. And then on, the new Red, that's out. They even have a little buffer inside of it. So like even when you're filming, you have a little extra on either end to work with for that safetyness, the little safety net, because maybe you're filming a wedding or a documentary and something's overexposed. Like having to change something on the fly could then mess everything up for you and you miss the moment. So just stick with it and just keep capturing that moment because you have a little bit of give and take on either end. So
yeah, I think that's a big one.
Yeah.
How about you, Kofi? You got one?
I think what I'm excited about is like the ecosystem building that everybody's doing and not just Sony, right? Like Sony, I think what ends up happening is when you buy into a Sony camera, I don't even know if you're buying image quality anymore. I think you're buying an ecosystem.
Yeah.
Because you could move laterally with whatever you're doing, right? Everything has S-Log3 now. Everything has 10-bit. Everything is a full, like an E-mount, not necessarily a full frame E-mount, but it's all E-mount. You can get the same lenses all across the board. If you want to adapt it, you can adapt it kind of thing. Other companies I'm starting to find are catching on to that. And they're like, yeah, I shouldn't have a camera that feels like it's on its own. And if I get like, say, an R3, I can't get an R5C or a C70. Like they all can kind of play in the same ballpark. That's kind of the exciting thing for me because now companies are adopting a kind of mentality where it's like, I don't care what camera you buy, but I just want you to get it from me. And then when you do want to do those upgrades, you're not thinking of, should I go to another system? It's more like, hey, you know what? I had an R8. I think the entry part is like, I had an R8. I'm thinking of maybe going with the R5 too, or whenever it comes out. And you can make that shift, and it's the shift is just the camera body, and it's not I have to change out my whole life, right? Where I think buying cameras back before, if you bought a new camera, you upgraded, even within the same brand, you had to change everything.
Yeah.
I'm excited about
there's
that.
Some
part.
brands that are bad at that still.
Yeah, there's some brands that are still working on it. And actually somebody agreed with you, Kofi. They said that Kofi is right. The ecosystem is the biggest consideration for the common person, which for me, I know like a while ago, I know some people are gonna hate this, whatever. But like I love Nikons. Okay. I need to confess to you guys, I like to shoot on Nikon. But
I support you.
That's cool.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
cool.
you. These are real friends. No, but when I reviewed the Z9 at the time, I told them, and like, because Nikon obviously reached out, they sent us a camera and whatever to test out. And I was like, hey, this is a great camera, but your ecosystem sucks. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, this is a really great camera, but no one's starting at a Z9. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, okay. And then they came out with the Z8, and I was like, better. You know what I mean? And now we have the ZF and the ZFC. And so like, I believe that like, just like what you're saying, like you need to be able to, like, these camera manufacturers absolutely need to have like an ecosystem of cameras.
Yeah.
I will add one, fantasy wish on top of this. And I just wish that these ecosystems played a little bit better cross brands.
Yes.
And the
Yes,
reason
I
why I
agree
say that is
100%.
like, I remember back in the day when, I had Canon glass and I wanted to try Sony, and there were adapters that would let the autofocus still work.
Mhm.
Or like Sigma made adapters where you could use the same lens across a Sony and a Canon because it was the EF mount. So it was a little bit easier to do that. Since we switched to these mirrorless, very thin flange distances, like I found one adapter that will let you put Sony lenses on a Nikon body, which is really, really nice. Like, because the Nikon glass is still very big, like they're native glass. So the fact that I just unlocked all these new Sony lenses for my cameras, I love that fact, right? But I do wish that like RF, like I know Canon's like shut down the RF mount, which is like to me very frustrating. But like I liked back in the day when you had Tamron, you had Sigma, you had Canon, you had Sony, and they all kind of played together. I would love to see the ecosystems play a little bit closer together.
That actually is a reason how I got back to Sony to begin with. So I had Sony cameras before. Both broke down on the day of the lockdown. So I sent them back.
Oh, like COVID lockdown?
Yeah, the day COVID lockdown, I had brought both my cameras to repair because the audio jack wasn't working. And I picked up the Pocket 4K, and I'm like, I figured E-mount adapter, I'm going to get E-mount glass. I may as well get Canon camera. So I had the R5, and the C70. And because of that, not cross-pollination, I think I was shooting some stuff for Mark Bone and Mike Del Monte, and I was helping them with like some operating stuff, and they all had Sony. And I remember, and like, they don't remember this, and it probably wasn't a big deal, but I remember sending the footage back, and I'm like, oh, is like the footage okay? Like, I know I shot it on camera, and I just got this message back of like, yeah, it looks good. And in my head, I'm like, oh, it's trash. Like, I probably should switch because their workflow is all Sony stuff. Picked up the FX3, the FX6, like on the spot, right on that day. And that was because, and my big thing was everybody around me, like other people that own production companies and my other friends that were shooters as well, if they needed somebody on set, everybody was Sony or Red, and I was the one guy with a Canon C70 where I'm like, I can't even borrow stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, okay, well, I got to make that switch. And literally that's what happened to get back into Sony, really.
Well, I hate that happened to you, because I don't think that should be everybody's story,
Yeah.
No,
like it definitely sucks when that kind of stuff happens. Like I remember back in the day, I'm glad I didn't get these jobs, but it would really suck. I see it. Gosh, Cam Mackey in the building, everybody. But no, I definitely remember back in the day when, you try to get a job, and like, this is like, music videos specifically, they were like, you shooting on a Red? And I was like, I mean, I can, like, we can rent one. They're like, oh, you ain't got one, you ain't it. And I was just like, dude, that's not how it works. Like,
do you got Red money?
Yeah, well, that was a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
Real talk. I do gotta give a shout out to Mr. Cam Mackey. Cam, I just wanted to let you know. Let's cut to my camera, Jarrell. Guys, this is all the money that Cam Mackey has actually given us via all of our super chats. And thanks to Cam Mackey, we could officially afford this LED wall over here, everybody. Cam Mackey, thank you so much for making this possible. We just wanted to say thank you. No, real talk. Cam, it's always awesome to see you on there. I got to get in touch with you. We got to get you on the show at some point. We got to get our Broncos in. You see, I got my Bronco back there. That's a shout out to Cam Mackey. I had a lot of little shout outs to Cam for this show.
Next time we'll park them together.
Yeah, you got to do a road trip. Bring your Bronco out here. We'll put them up side by side. We'll have the dopest live stream ever. We'll try to get Ford to sponsor it.
You gotta do the live stream from your Broncos, like just sitting in the trunk.
Yeah. Oh, dude, park our
stream.
Broncos
You'll do
back
it.
to back podcast from that
Yeah,
too.
do it.
Yeah,
Little tailgating party.
dude. That's it right there. That's
The
$1
B
million
stream.
idea.
I'll fly back to Texas.
Hey, let's go. Everybody get a Bronco. But no, I think that to your point, like, when it comes to having your different cameras and whatnot, I know that's really challenging. But like you guys, as far as like Captive, y'all shoot on Reds, Canons, like it
5Ds.
5D, like it really just comes down to the job.
It really
right?
just consider the job. We do a lot of documenting, and sometimes the job, I just need to be able to put a 5D in a spot where it just needs to sit there for a couple of hours to capture a time lapse, or we'll do C200 where I'm just easy rig running around, or we're doing the high end stuff where they're like, hey, we want to see the Red, bring out the big guns, all the way to the phantom cameras where, owning one of those guys is, like having a house, buying a house.
It is buying a house.
It is buying a house.
It is buying a house.
So,
well, at least here in Texas.
yeah, in here. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, changing the operating systems is crucial for our business because there's so many different types of jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would love to ask Marcus at this point. You've been kind of hearing all this about these different cameras. You haven't actually gotten a chance to test the Reds yet, right? Well, I know you shot a little bit with mine, but
And a little bit with the Komodo.
And a little bit with the Komodo, that's right.
Yeah.
So when you hear about all these different cameras in your flow, because I know you're like I think a lot of people can really relate to like your journey because you're much smaller of a team when it comes to like you getting hired out to do individual jobs just as a shooter. Unlike with Kofi's situation, how have you been able to like talk through people? Because I would imagine if you want to shoot something on Fuji, that's probably the camera you're going to get the most pushback on. Because if someone does ask you, oh, what are you shooting on? If you say any Canon camera or any Sony camera, I feel like most people are going to kind of be like, oh, okay. But like with Fuji, how have you been able to talk through? Because I know you told me this before.
Yeah.
But like when a client calls you or someone hires you to shoot and they're like, oh, what camera do you have? And you say, oh, I'm going to shoot it on Fuji. When they give you that little bit of pushback, how have you been able to overcome that?
Yeah, so it's so weird. I've been hired by multiple different production companies, and only one asked me the question. And I believe it's because they saw my work first. And I sent them a reel, and most of those images were shot on Fuji. And they just said, I want that. It's like this, whatever you did or whatever you shot it with, I just want that. And most of them are just asking for it to be in log. Now, I do have a Sony client, and we have to actually rent out Sony cameras. But because I've used them and I have experience with them, it's never a problem. We just budget it out, and I get the camera. So I haven't gotten any pushback on Fujifilm at all yet.
Yeah.
No.
I think what's interesting, though, is that you say that, you show them your work. And I think that is the one thing that I feel like if you're a creator and you're getting into these like gear questions, especially with like clients and stuff, or even if somebody's like questioning your, oh, would you shoot that on? Or, oh, how did you pull that off? I think if your work is good enough, it should speak for itself. And if you're a little worried about the camera that you have, like let your work be what speaks for you and speaks beyond the camera. Because I'll tell you, like you might think that if you buy a Red that the questions stop. It don't stop. Like, in fact, there's actually like, I feel like there's like, it's almost like a hill.
Yeah.
Like when you start getting to the Red side, like you're like, oh, like people won't care once I shoot on Red. It actually starts going downhill at that point because now when they see it shot on Red, they are way more picky. Everything gets way more criticized. And it's like, oh, but you didn't like that perfectly, or oh, you didn't do this, or oh, you didn't do that. And so I would strongly recommend you as somebody who literally started on a T2i, has gone all the way to shooting on the highest end Red cameras. But I honestly find myself really enjoying cameras that are more so in the middle. And even from Red, like I have a Raptor, but my favorite camera is the Komodo X. Like it's not even their biggest Red camera. Like the truth is that whole chasing gear thing doesn't really land you anywhere that's going to be sufficient. But if you do have work, I think that one, you'll be more proud of what you make with what you have. And then when your work really stands out for itself, like it won't matter what you're shooting on.
Yeah.
Because I've never cared what Kofi's stuff was on. Like Justin, like 9 times out of 10, we're only asking like, okay, what's the frame rate?
Yeah.
Like that's all we care about. Like I don't even care what the camera is. Like what's the frame rate going to look like? And then the same with Marcus. Like when we shoot together, it's just like, what are you bringing?
That's it.
Only because I want to make sure I have the right memory cards to give you. That's literally the only thing I care about. Or if I have some lenses I could throw your way to help with the project. But other than that, I could absolutely care less. And I think that's how it is. Like once you start doing this at a professional level.
Yeah. I think specific, and this is, again, this might be specific to myself. I think I like testing and tinkering with things to find out. Because like say a new camera comes out, I'm like, and this might be for, I don't know if you guys feel this, where you're already kind of honed into your own shooting style, where the tool doesn't matter so much. So you want to try everything to see if your style works in that tool, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine if you owned a sneaker shop, right? And you played basketball and you're like, I'm already comfortable with my game already. Let me try a different pair of shoes. And like, it just out of curiosity. And I think with YouTube side of things, like I me and you both have the pleasure of being able to get the ability to do that, where I'm like, you know what, let me try shooting this next project on a Nikon, just because I already know my own stuff, but I just want to know what happens.
Right.
And you get that kind of, and I think what's hard about that is that a lot of people don't understand that experience, because it's a 0.5% of people experience where someone's going to say like, hey, Brandon.
I'll push back though. I feel like you can get that experience. I think you just have to overcome the fear of renting, because I feel like, and this may be a hot take, so bear with me, but I feel like way too many filmmakers, videographers, content creators buy a camera because a YouTuber told them to buy it. I know I'm guilty because I'm one of those YouTubers, without fully testing the range of cameras that are actually out there, because they're afraid to rent something and not know how to use it. And I think like that can really hurt you in the long run, because everybody, like you said, all those Sony shooters, and you were shooting with Mark Bone and all them, and you were like, oh, I guess I need to shoot Sony because they're all shooting Sony, so I'm going to go that route. And like through that, like you have probably had no problems with the Sonys that you went with, but you never really experienced the Fuji. You never really experienced the Nikon. So who knows? You might have found the F for fun in Fuji. But you never allowed yourself to go down that rabbit hole. And I'm saying that as somebody who is guilty of the same. Yeah. Like I chased Red for so long because, you know, my favorite directors shot their best movies on Reds. And I was like, I gotta go that way. I gotta go that way, to a point to where like I completely shunned Nikon to the side and was like, that's not for real filmmakers, until I finally got the opportunity to try it for myself and was like, oh, dang, this actually is a pretty good camera. I think the only caveat for that is that I think where people have access to rental shops for the things that they want to try is scarce. That is true. Right. So like, for example, when that decision was made, that was 2020, the Fuji X H2S didn't even exist. Like Fuji video focus cameras didn't even exist at the time. Nikon video focus cameras didn't exist at the time. Right. You had like, literally it was, you got a C70, a Pocket 6K Pro, an FX6, an FX3, or the original Red Komodo. It's funny, we've come a long way since 2020. It's really like, when you think about how many cameras, like how good cameras have gotten just in the last 4 years. How many cameras have come out since that time, right? Cameras Isn't that wild? And I think that might be also a thing as well. I think what ends up happening is that when you live, like if you live in a major city, you can go to the rental shop and pick something up. Yeah. Right. But if I'm in like, even if you're in Ontario, if you're somewhere that's not in the GTA, good luck. Right. There might be one camera of that type that you got to go and drive from wherever you are out east all the way down to the city to borrow for a day. And like, that's the kind of hassle kind of thing you like when we're in our space. And I guess that's kind of the difference too, right? When you get somebody that's starting out, it's kind of hard for them to understand how the rental process works. Yeah. For us, it's easy because we know where to find those things. We know where our proximity is. Yeah. But then if I'm somebody who doesn't know if I want to get an FX3 or maybe I want to get a Canon R5C, you gotta rely on the YouTuber. Yeah, you have to, right? And you know what, too, and the thing is, I think the way that some people watch YouTube is kind of like that end all be all, right? Like it in my head, and like, and this is my own fantasized world, is that when you watch, if I watch one of Brandon's reviews, I just watch it as topical information in the event that I come in contact with that camera, not necessarily as I want you to tell me what to buy. I just want to. I heard this thing came out. I trust your opinion. I just want to hear what it is, right? And I want to hear as many people that I trust until I make a decision. And I think that's kind of where, and I guess it's a little bit more frequent when some people do just hear the one review and they say, yep, I'll buy that thing because a person I like bought it. And I'm like, I don't know if that's exactly the way you should watch and consume YouTube content like that. And I never have. Like usually when like I am interested in a camera, I'll watch at least 10 different people have an opinion before I'm like, okay, maybe I'll pull the trigger. And I also ask people that have nothing to do with cameras. Well, Justin, you're not a YouTuber. I'm not a YouTuber. So I'd love to hear your perspective on this. I'm sorry, what was the question again? Well, your perspective on this, the idea of like, you know, with people looking at YouTube to be able to figure out what type of gear they should buy, is it like, should people do more research and actually test a lot of this gear? Yeah. So, you know, I was thinking, you know, a lot of people don't have the money to just go spend $200, $300 on renting a camera when they're like, I could use that money towards buying the camera that I actually want. And they're like, well, I don't like this camera and I got to spend another $300 on this person or this rental. I think one of the best things is try to get yourself into the community.
Talk to your friends. Like, bro, you and I have lent each other so much pieces of equipment. I didn't even have to buy it. I just homie trade for, hey, you need this piece, I need that piece. I think that's a really great way to get your hands on some equipment. And then, I think for me, what I've done is I commit. I've committed to the C70, the C200, the Komodo, and the Gemini. And I use that camera to the best of my ability until I knew I was ready to upgrade. So like, buy within your means now, and then you'll be able to maximize that camera. And then when your brain gets to the point where you're ready to level up, hit that next tick, then you've probably already saved a little bit of money and you're already ready to go and do that next purchase. And then for me, also just owning that camera. Like, I need to go test this shot. Now I got to go rent it, the camera, or ask my buddy. Having that Ronin 2 with the red Gemini and the suction mounts, and be able to, like, I'm going to go test the shot today. We're going to drive some cars. Like, I wouldn't be able to practice those things if I didn't own it, but you have to invest in yourself. Yeah. But you can't get those pieces until you start with a smaller piece and then evolve into the next biggest piece. So
yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. I got to give a shout out to my good friend Tyler. He gave me $5 for my Bronco.
Hey, what up, Tyler?
I appreciate that, bro.
Man, I'll give you 10. Okay. 10. The bidding war starts.
Hey, let's start the bidding. Last time that worked out real well in my favor. Cam, where you at? All right. I want to switch gears here for a second, because you guys know here on the show every single week we just try to have some fun. And I brought in 3 amazing filmmakers for 3 very knowledgeable filmmakers. And so we've got a very special game set up, but I want to kind of like make it a little bit better. So I have not planned this or cleared this with Jarrell, who is here and monitoring chat. Jarrell, we're just going to make this happen on the fly. If you are based in the US, do me a huge favor, comment US, because we're going to be picking 3 lucky people to sort of play along with us. So in the chat, we need to find 3 people who are based in the US. You do need to be based in the US in order for this to work. So if you're based in the US, comment that right now in the chat. While we do that, we are going to be playing an awesome game that I'm going to be putting you guys on the spot for. Now, I told you we'd be playing a little bit of a game. Kofi, no cheating. You cannot use the puppy as a leverage. All right. But today we're going to be playing a fun game. Do we have the video ready to roll? Do we want to go ahead and show them the intro for this awesome game? Because our amazing editor, Travis, cut up something new for us this week. And I can't wait to see it. So, Jarrell, let's run that new intro. It's Camera Jeopardy. Yeah, buddy.
I suck at Jeopardy. Let's do this.
So for those of you guys who don't know what Jeopardy is, while we're pulling in our US-based winners, or our US-based participants, Jeopardy is a game where you actually have to answer specific questions based on certain categories. And so we've created a few different categories, and each question has a dollar amount. And so the way it works is, if you get the question right, I will literally give you the money. So that way we can keep track of score. The way you will buzz in to actually answer your question is using your designated hype buttons. Everyone, we want to give their designated hype button a little test. Y'all know I love those hype buttons. I'm ridiculous. But today we're going to be playing Camera Jeopardy. I'm super, super excited about this. Let's go ahead. I'm going to pick 3 people from the chat that are based in the US as our participants. So here's how this is going to work. Let's go with Exokeem. So Exokeem, Marcus, you're going to be playing for Exokeem.
Exokeem.
There's one. And then let's see. Let's grab Luger TV. Let's grab that one. Let's pull that one up. That was the last one, US Gang. And then let's go ahead and bring in Ro Owens. I think I said that right. So you've got Ro Owens, and then you have, what did I say? Luger TV. That's
Luger
yours.
TV.
All right. So here's how this is going to work. These guys are going to be playing on their behalf, and the person who wins this event will actually receive $100 cash. I kid you not.
What?
So y'all are playing for these guys. If they win, they get the $100 cash.
Man, sorry, bro. You're not gonna get this money. I'm gonna tell you in advance. You may not get this money.
So I will tell you on the future. Where I ask you to comment in. Make sure y'all comment in because the winner will be giving their person $100 cash. Now, here is also how it works. When the question pops up, chat, you can help them, but you got to be quick because they're not gonna have a lot of time. So
you can't read the chat.
You got YouTube right here.
hey, you got to try. You got pull it up on your phones.
Oh, come
Pull it up on
on.
your phones. Let's go. This is live.
I thought this was a no phones kind of event.
Look, if you
Oh.
want to win this money for the person that you've been assigned to, I recommend you do what you can. So chat, make sure you guys are helping them out. Luger's not happy with his decision, obviously.
Who I got? EXO
Luger,
King?
you're not happy?
EXO.
Bro, we're about to win.
Okay, EXO.
Are we on a team or are we against each other?
No, y'all against each other because only
My person, we're on a team.
yeah, y'all are on a team
Yeah,
together.
okay.
So if you win
Yo,
the
Ro,
game,
get on that Google
he
real
gets
quick.
$100.
Yes.
So chat, if y'all want to help them out, pull up Google on the side.
Yo, bro,
We
get
got
that
money
Google
to
tab
give
up.
away. Let's get it.
We got this.
All right, Jarrell, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Hold up, I'm still trying to get in this live stream.
We
real
don't
quick.
have time for that, bro. Let's get it. Let's pull up our amazing little setup for here for Jeopardy. We're gonna be giving away some money, but they got to be able to answer these questions correctly. All right, we got it set up
I mean, when did Jeopardy ever have a buzzer?
to buzz in.
Yeah.
I'm
you got
gonna.
one,
The
you got
question gets asked. So let me break down the rules because Marcus
Yeah, I
doesn't
haven't
remember
watched
how
it
it's gonna
since,
work.
Alex Trebek was doing.
That's okay. So here's how it works. We're gonna start with you, Marcus, since you don't understand. You'll get
Right.
the first one. You're gonna pick a dollar amount and a category. So our 5 categories we have, or no, 6 categories that we have: popular movies,
Mm.
gearhead, brands, grip equipment, AI software, and YouTube. All right. So you're gonna pick your category, and then you're gonna pick a certain dollar amount. Now, the $200 questions are the easiest, and the $1,000 questions are gonna be the hardest. So the harder the question, the more your potential to win. As soon as I'm done reading the question, you will be able to buzz in with your answer. All right. Whoever buzzes in first, that person gets a chance to answer the question. Right? Oh, yeah. And if you get the question right, you get a chance to choose not only the next category, but what dollar amount you want.
And are you gonna choose whose buzzer you heard first?
Yes. So be visual. Be visual. Be visual.
Okay.
Oh, shoot.
Kofi, no cheating. Visual. Chat, make sure y'all help him out. All right, Marcus, you get a chance to start us off.
Right here.
All right, we're gonna do Gearhead for 200.
All right, let's do it. Canon changed the filmmaking world with this DSLR. I saw Kofi.
5D Mark III.
Sorry, that's not right. You
5D
guys can,
Mark
It was a 5D
got-
Mark.
You got
4.
buzzed.
5D Mark II.
5D Mark II. Good job.
Rotten. Where's my Google? Where's my Google press?
Now this is
XO.
Jeopardy,
Mark II,
so
there.
technically
Thanks,
you're
Brandon.
supposed to answer in a question,
Oh,
but I'll let you
okay.
slide.
So what is the
There you
5D
go.
Mark II?
There you go. Full on Jeopardy. Let's do it. Or
Okay.
not Jeopardy, because I don't know. That might be copyrighted. All right, that's $200 in Marcus's hand. There you go.
Okay. I got
All
it.
right,
Made it rain.
next one.
We're gonna do popular movies for 200.
Popular movies for 200. All right. Adam Sandler has a gambling addiction in this movie. Kofi.
I'm gonna just throw a wild guess and say Uncut Gems.
Ding, ding, ding. That is
Hey.
$200.
Get the answer.
Marcus, are y'all keeping score? Because I'm just throwing cash. All right, that's $200. $200 your way. All right, you get a chance to pick the next one.
I'm gonna pick grip equipment for 600.
Ooh, going deep. All right, this question is: what is the name of the? I can't see it all the way. What is the name of the tape that grips use to conceal wires on set?
Gaff tape.
Wasn't done
You
answering.
finished the
I didn't
question?
finish the question.
And it's gaff tape.
You don't
Kofi.
have to.
I do.
You have to wait till the end. You have to wait till he finishes the question.
No.
No.
That's how you
It's
play
okay. It's
Jeopardy.
okay.
Okay.
It's okay. I'm not a sore loser.
$600.
Yeah.
It's going to Kofi.
Yeah.
It's going to
We
Kofi.
800, bro.
All right, next
Let's
one.
get this
Kofi,
money.
you get a chance to do it.
I will pick AI software for 600.
All right, let's do it. I got a slight
Ooh.
delay on here, so I'm trying to get it as quickly as I can. All right. Creates videos based off of text prompts.
Oh,
Sora.
That is correct. Another
I
600.
challenged that because you said he has to answer it in question form. So put that back in there.
what is Sora?
What is Sora? $600.
Yo, this is rigged. No, put the camera on me. Put the camera on me. You
I
see the
gave that one
treachery.
over to you,
You see
brother.
the treachery.
That is a
Appreciate you.
look. First of all, this is my show, and there are absolutely no rules because we're just making it up as we go. You stole 600 from him last time. He stole 600 back.
from you.
And I
Fair.
rightfully earned the next one. I'm just saying.
We'll see. Hey, look, the questions won't lie. Justin, what's our next category?
All right. Let's do brands for 1,000.
Ooh. All right, let's run it. In Brandon Washington's latest video, he did a brand integration with this company. Let's see who my fans are.
He got it. He got it.
That would be, I want to say it's Skillshare.
He's not a fan. He's not a fan. That is
What?
so incorrect.
The
Oh
one
my,
with the red raptor. What did you just
oh
do?
my God.
Oh, wait.
I've never done an integration with Skillshare. Nope, you're out. Somebody else got to go.
Oh, man, didn't watch the
I feel
last
this.
one.
He ain't what? I got
Red-
no fans. Where the
Red.
chat at?
Red.
He didn't beat
Oh.
it.
I did. I did. It was second after
Come on.
him.
Come on.
What is red?
No, goodness gracious.
I didn't see the last
All right,
video.
Kofi, it came back around.
See, I might get this wrong too. What is story blocks?
That is actually correct.
Oh, let's go.
Come on,
Story
chat.
box. I did
Go.
watch it.
One of y'all
We had
should have been.
1800. We had
Dang.
1800.
Chat,
We had
y'all should've
1800. I
went-
knew it started with
Chat,
X.
what are y'all doing?
I knew it started.
So you should have went over to his channel.
Y'all should have went to the
I-
chat.
I
What
commented
fans
first
at?
on that. I don't even know why I said Skillshare. My
You
bad.
did comment first. That's
Yeah,
why I
I
was
did.
kind of mad.
Because
I saw
I
what
did
is
the video with
red.
You
Skillshare.
did too.
That
You
No,
did
you know
too.
what? It's because I did the video with Skillshare, so I thought it was the same thing.
That means that it was a loyalty comment.
But hey, look, it was worth $1,000. That's not my problem.
Okay.
No.
Hey, I'm up 1800.
Come
Bro,
on,
we up, bro.
EXO.
All right, come
You
on.
Gotta help.
We gotta keep
working
it going.
together
Let me
here.
go. You know what? Let me just get this one out of the way. Let me go popular movies for 1,000.
Popular movies for 1,000.
Let's just get out of the way.
All right, let's do it. Leonardo DiCaprio starred as Ted Daniels in what 2010 thriller. Marcus.
Shutter Island.
Oh,
what
that-
is Shutter Island?
Shutter Island.
Yes,
there you go.
yes, sir.
One, two,
Yes.
3, 4, 5.
Bro,
That's
you're
my
supposed to
favorite-
get me on
my
that Google,
favorite,
bro.
Leonardo
8,
DiCaprio movie.
Bro, you're supposed to get me on that Google.
10. Marcus, catch.
Bang. Oh,
Oh, it all stayed
All
together.
stuck together.
I'm getting better. Actually, that's not good. I'm supposed to make it rain. My bad.
bam.
I'll make it look better for camera on the next one.
All right, EXO, that was for you.
All right, Marcus.
Wait a minute. Do we supposed to remember?
No, you can just jump around as long
This
as we
money is
haven't
just
already.
always
used
gonna
it.
stay there.
As long as we haven't already done it. Yeah.
All right, bet. Oh, my bad.
What are you
Gearheads
Disqualified.
for 600.
Gearheads for 600. Have we done that one yet? No. All right, here we go. This drone was recalled within 2 weeks because of reports of it falling out of the sky. I heard his first.
The DJI Avata?
No.
What is the Go? It was a GoPro. What is the GoPro something? I forgot what it was. I forgot what it was called.
Can I give it to him?
Come on, I'm partially there. It's by the company. The drone was. What is the? The light, the car, the Broncos.
Bronco. Car. I don't know.
Jarrell, give it to us.
This guy-
Oh,
I'm gonna give it to him.
Karma.
There
But
you
it was
go.
a GoPro.
It was GoPro.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
I remember
okay.
that.
So the way I always remember it is that it's pretty karma that it fell out of the sky.
It was
And
karma.
it just the whole brand
EXO,
just
I'm
me,
coming
Marcus,
crashed.
me,
for
Marcus are tied.
I'm
Six-
coming for. I'm coming
600.
for
Me,
it.
That was
me and Marcus are
terrible.
tied. Okay.
Okay, before we continue, really quick, let me get a quick tally on our points. Where are we at? Kofi
Mm.
has 1,800.
Mm.
Justin has 600.
That was robbed.
1,800. All right, so we're only
All right.
we're gonna take 5 more questions.
Okay.
All right, and whoever has the most at the end of those, remember the person you're playing for. I hope you remember their names,
Mhm.
because I don't remember who's playing for who.
EXO. I got EXO.
Loogie.
Got it.
Bro, get that Google tab up, bro.
5 more questions, and then we're gonna call the winner, and then that winner will win $100 on this live stream. All right, here we go. Marcus, you're gonna pick our next category and dollar amount.
Gearheads for 800.
Gearheads for 800. This 5-axis gimbal costs $63,000. Justin.
Bolt model mover.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect.
Okay.
5. It's not one.
And I guess it's technically 6 axes. Oops.
Did you buzz in?
The Gazelle. What is the Gazelle?
Sorry, that's incorrect.
Um,
You gotta chat.
Exo,
You gotta help him out.
Exo,
Chat.
come on, Exo.
Chat,
is
help
it
him
in the-
out.
it does DJ. No, not DJI doesn't make it.
Chat, help him out.
Exo, what's
I'm
going
only
on
gonna
with
hold
you?
in for a little bit longer.
Come on, somebody Exo.
5,
Exo.
4,
Exo.
3, 2, and I'm
And-
sorry. We're going to move on to the next one. That is the RE Trinity, guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's the 5-axis. It's
Mhm.
the little tilt arm that
Yeah,
gets you
yeah,
that
yeah,
5
yeah.
that 5th axis. Sorry guys.
Makes sense.
You wanted $800. All right, Marcus, you get a chance to pick the next one again.
I'm just having fun with movies. Movies for 800.
Movies for 800. The final stone collected by Thanos in Infinity War.
that would be the Mind Stone that he got at Vision's forehead.
That
Let's
is
go, Charlie.
correct.
That was
Because he brought back time to
Oh,
kill
dude.
Vision a second time to get the Mind Stone out.
I'm not hesitation because the Mind Stone isn't the right answer. You're just not answering in a question.
What is
the Mind Stone?
Nope, my buzzer was. You can't.
No, you gotta hand me that money. We're not doing this. We're not doing this foolishness twice. We're not doing this foolishness twice. Okay.
Okay. You get the 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From Cam Mackey.
There we go. What up, Cam?
Mind Stone.
I'm gonna go YouTube for 1,000.
Ooh, trying to bridge a gap. All right, let's see what we got.
I might lose this one. I don't know.
YouTube 4,000. Most viewed non-music YouTube video in 2 hours or 24 hours. Sorry.
Would it be Ouch Charlie?
No,
I'm guessing.
I think I know this one. I haven't seen the answer, but I think I know this one.
Non-music video in 2 hours.
What is Shay Shay and Cat Williams?
Oh, that's a good guess, but I think it took longer for that one to take off. That is incorrect.
What is
Nope.
Mr. Beast?
So I think he might be close. He said, "What is Mr. Beast?" Is not a Mr. Beast video?
Oh, the GTA 6 trailer.
That is correct.
Hey!
I should get that one because I buzzed in because he still didn't say what is.
I said, what is a GTA 6 trailer?
You didn't. You didn't.
I thought I heard it.
I
Nope,
thought I
you
heard that.
$1,000 to Kofi.
Damn.
I don't know who Kofi's playing for, but you want to be going
everyone
crazy.
could win.
Everybody got
what's
that.
going on?
GTA.
Everybody got that in the
Dang.
chat.
They
GTA,
answering late.
GTA. Chat should be playing. What are y'all doing up here? Good
Right.
night. Next time we're doing this with the audience. Forget y'all.
Dang.
Okay,
let's-
that was good. Next one.
you know
How
what?
many questions have I asked? Is that 2 or 3 since I said?
Those 3.
That was 3. All right, 2 more questions.
Damn.
Ooh, see, this is gonna be a strategic play.
Oh, he's gonna do everything for $200. I already know where you're going.
Yeah, let me go
Oh, he's saying
brands.
3 more,
because
3
then
more
you can't
questions.
catch
Are the
up.
same.
Let me get
Exactly.
brands for $400. Bro, let's get this money.
Oh, we have
fam.
3 more
No,
questions.
you'll get it
We have
wrong.
3 more questions.
I'm
All
gonna get
right.
it right. and
Because
then
one of
we'll
them
go
was
for that one.
canceled out because we couldn't guess it.
That's right. All right, 3 more questions. All right, the Creative Fam Academy is hosted on this platform.
I did it first.
Definitely.
Did he finish the question?
Yeah.
What is Uscreen?
That is correct.
Give me that.
I hit that.
$400 your
Now I'm
way.
going to
homie.
the $1,000 questions.
All right, Marcus is trying to get the comeback. We're running out of cash here.
let's
I
go.
might have to pick up some cash, y'all. I'm running out.
Yeah, what to say?
Did we
It
do a
looks like
$1,000 movie one yet?
Yes,
We did.
Yeah.
We did a $1,000 gear one yet?
Do $600 movie, 400 or 200.
Let's do 400 for movies.
All right, 400 on movies. This movie franchise is in its 10th installment.
I got it.
Justin.
What is Fast and Furious?
Damn.
That is correct.
Yes, I reached $1,000.
allow you-
Yay!
I like you hit that one.
Kobe's like, yeah, let
Oh,
Justin
man.
get these.
Yeah, honestly, because I mean, we're at one question. There's not enough. There's
we
not
got 2
enough.
questions left.
Final
Final
question.
question.
Kofi
Okay,
wins.
wait.
Ask
I
the
don't know
question
if you
anyway.
put
Let's-
this in there, but can we make this the double Jeopardy? Double
Ooh,
Jeopardy.
double
I'm calling
Jeopardy.
it. Ba, 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 ba.
Let's go.
Okay.
Double Jeopardy. So
Do we
this
do-
question is worth twice as much.
Do we do grip equipment for 1,000?
We didn't.
No, we did not.
All right.
Grip
That
equipment
sucks.
for
I could pass
okay,
it all up.
okay, wait. So you guys got to be very careful here, okay? When I say the final word is when you can buzz in.
Okay.
I will pause
In question form.
in question, and you have to answer in question form, okay? And I'm going to read the question from my iPad so that way I can be looking in your direction for when y'all hit those buzzers. Make sure it is visual, okay? Because y'all tripping right now. All right, here we go. Final question. Here we go. I'm reading off the iPad. This camera has a reported 17 plus stops of dynamic range. Justin,
What is the red?
you gotta be more specific.
Hey. What is the red V Raptor?
That is
X?
not correct. Kofi.
I said X.
What is
Kofi.
the Red V Raptor X?
I said it though. I said
Did he? Hold on.
He kind of like he said like Red V Raptor.
Hold on,
You got the wrong answer, and then he mumbled X after.
Hold on. Everybody chill out. Because this $2,000 might actually change the scope of this game.
Mm-hmm.
So
Let's see what the guests say. It
hold on.
won't.
It won't.
So even my 2,000 plus my 1,000.
So
I'll be at 3,000.
Yeah.
So what is he at?
what? So
So it didn't matter. It wouldn't
So-
matter.
It didn't matter.
It wouldn't
2,000.
matter.
2,000.
You know, let him have the question. Let him have it. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Justin gets the $2,000.
Don't you worry.
I'm so sad
It doesn't
about
matter.
getting $2,000. I'm sad about it.
So, who is our official winner, judges? In third place. With how much? With 2,200 is? Justin, you moved up to second. Oh, Marcus is in third. Wait, okay, y'all tripping.
Yeah, wait, what?
Who's in third place? In third place, we have Marcus. Sorry, bud.
I told him he wasn't gonna win.
You
I tried
With
though.
that attitude,
You tried.
I did. I think I
In
did pretty
second
well.
place, we have Mr. Justin Bowers, and with 3,000. And in first place, didn't even have to even try on the last one, is Mr. Kofi. Kofi, who are you playing for?
Ro.
Ro, that is $100 in your pocket. Dang, that was so terrible.
Bro, I
That
want
was
my
awful.
He had a
percentage.
good run, man. We
I
definitely had a good run.
Buy
your
me like a
percentage?
lemonade or something. I don't know.
It's
Just
like
buy me some-
10%, right?
Honestly, just
It's
give me
like-
some Chick-fil-A with that that lemonade. You guys have like a calorie-free lemonade and like yeah, just give me that.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
what I want. I
Don't get
mind.
him anything. You take that $100, you go do something amazing.
Treat
with it.
yourself.
Treat
yourself.
yourself. Do me a huge favor. Reach out to me. DM me on Instagram. We have your information. Who are you playing for again?
Ro Owen.
Ro Owen. All right. Travis, make a note of that. Ro, do us a huge favor. Send me a DM on Instagram. So that way we can get you linked up with that money. And the next time I tell you guys to comment in to play a game, trust me, it's gonna be worth it. We have a lot of fun here. As I mentioned earlier at the top of the show, we are about to start getting ready for the World of Red Cinema Workshop. Super excited about this event. It is a completely sold out event at this point. So I would be saying, hey, click the link and sign up and show up. But it's completely sold out at this point. We're going to have over 100 people at this event. As I mentioned before, Red's going to be there. We will obviously have video content from this event. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I saw a couple people in the chat who are going to the event. So if you are going to the event, let us know in the chat. I can't wait to see you guys in person. For anybody who's not in the Houston area, don't worry. We do plan on doing more events in the future all over the country. And we may even try to go ahead and jump the border and come see you guys out in Toronto. So we'll definitely be trying to do that as well. But super, super excited. Guys, thank you so much for hopping on the show with me.
Absolutely.
Before we bounce out of here, we'll kind of go counterclockwise. Let the people know where they can find you and like where they can find you on social. What's your social handles? What's all that stuff? Start with you, Marcus.
Okay, mostly I am on Instagram at Marcus R Films. I post a lot of stories, pretty cool content, and I am reviving my YouTube channel, which is still Marcus R Films or Marcus R Robinson, something like that. So
you don't
one
know
of
what your YouTube is. Great.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Moving on, Justin.
What's going
like
on,
that.
everybody? I'm Justin Bowers 360 on all channels, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and you can also find us on Captive Studios, Captive Creative. Captive doesn't have an E at the end of it. Give us a follow.
Yes. See, that was easy. You see, just one handle
Just win.
everywhere. Let's go.
I
Yeah.
tried.
How about you, Kobe?
You guys can find me in there. My name's Kofi Aboa. That's my YouTube name. I am Kofi Aboa is also my Instagram. Easy way to find me. I post a almost unreasonable amount of YouTube videos, so
That's true.
you'll see me on the home feed at some point.
That is very true. He has the craziest cadence, and I have a team, and I still can't keep up. So yeah, keep crushing it. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Check in. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out, so that way the algorithm knows that we have a good time here. Obviously, we don't do this video. We don't do the live stream for the algorithm. We do it for you guys, and that's why we try to make it as engaging and as much fun as we possibly can. But of course, as always, I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Go out and shoot something dope. Have a great time, and we'll catch you guys next week, same time, 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. See you guys there. Peace. Make the money rain.